What's going on, Colts Nation? Appreciate you joining me for another video. And before we get into the video, just know that in the description there is a link for Green Gridiron where you can get mini helmets or authentic NFL helmets. Okay, and make sure to use the discount code INDSYN at checkout and use that referral code down in the description so that they know I sent you. Okay, so again, go to the description. Holiday season coming up. Mini helmets, mini helmet accessories, helmet accessories, whatever the case may be. You want it for you, your man cave, a loved one, whatever the case is. Mini helmets and authentic NFL helmets can be found on Green Gridiron. The link in the description. Again, that is code INDSYN for the discount code. I appreciate you stopping by. And now let's get into the video. Colts Nation, do I have something to talk about here? Boy, with some conversation that was happening in the stream during the game, even when we were winning, we were blowing the Titans out. And there were people in the chat still talking about, like, wow, Anthony Richardson passed 11 times in that game. And people were in the chat just coming out saying, like, hey, Anthony Richardson's not the guy. He's terrible and this and that. And like, I mean, first of all, bro finished 7 for 11. He didn't throw very much. There was no reason to dog on him. But nonetheless, the conversation continues to go on about, hey, is Anthony Richardson actually the guy? Is he the guy going forward? And there are people that are already done with Anthony Richardson, which is, I mean, listen. I know I've had some videos on this channel where I was very impatient, where I'm saying, hey, let's go sign this guy, or hey, let's cut this guy, or let's fire this guy, right? I've had those videos. So I'm guilty of it too, but I know for a fact I have more patience than a lot of fans out there, right? I've been very patient with Chris Ballard. I've been very patient with Gus Bradley, and just at a point of being done with it. So at the end of the day, it's like, Anthony Richardson, what's happening with Anthony Richardson is obviously frustrating. And it's more frustrating because what's happening this season was supposed to happen last year. So we're stuck here, and it feels like, oh, last year and this year, oh, he's never going to get better. Well, he didn't really get to play last year. So I think what we saw last year, he looked good, right? And there are people saying, oh, well, he's regressed. And I don't know if that's the case. I think teams have gotten film on Anthony Richardson. They try to take away the things that he does well. And that's where Anthony Richardson needs to grow. He needs to figure out how to be able to do other things well. And as a passer, he's obviously got to grow. I'm not going to sit here and defend him and say it's been great. Now, without the drops that he's had this year, I think his completion percentage over 100%, or I'm sorry, over 50%. Yeah, not over 100, over 50%. I think things optically look a little better. And if you count it as a rookie year between last year and this year, and the games that he's played and put the numbers together, and really even at the end of the year, right, we have the Giants and after a Jaguars game, assuming he's able to play in both those games, that will have been 17 games that he's played in, right? He hasn't finished all those games either. So that's going to be 17 games that he's played in. And at that point, boom, 17, one season. We have one season of Anthony Richardson in 2 years. So unfortunately, due to injuries, due to being benched, we've only had one season out of the two. But nonetheless, we're going to have a good barometer of, okay, this was his rookie year. When he's done with his second season, assuming, again, he's able to play both of the next two games and play him out, then you would just look at those numbers, 17 games, this is what it is, right? And altogether, of course, this year hasn't been incredible from a passing standpoint. That's been down this year, but nonetheless, right now, through 15 games in his career, and again, he hasn't finished, 3 of them? I don't think he finished 3 or 4 of them. He is currently 176 for 348. That comes out to a 50.6 completion percentage. He has 2,391 yards, and actually in both seasons and all together, he's averaging 6.9 yards per attempt, both rookie year this year, and his average for his career is a total of 11 passing touchdowns, 13 interceptions, and a rating of 67.8. So overall, of course, you'd like to see it better, right? This year, you look at the numbers and you put the numbers together, all together, he's at 47.7% completion, 1,814 yards in 11 games. That means he has 165 yards in the games that he's played in. Now, again, I think he didn't finish the Steelers game. I think that might be the only game he didn't finish. But the 11 games that he's appeared in, total of 165 passing yards per game, or just under, is what that equals out to. So, again, numbers are down. He's had a lot of turnovers, but that happens, man. That happens with rookie quarterbacks. So, like, I see what you're talking about. Like, if you look at the numbers, like, the numbers look worse this year. And I mean, completion percentage way worse this year. Obviously, interceptions way up compared to last year. He's also played more. So that's just going to happen. But he's got things to clean up. And I've said it before. I'll continue to say it. I'm not going to back off this point. And I need everybody to make sure they hear me on this. Just notice that my microphone was slanted down. Oh boy. But nonetheless, like I was saying, like, when you really think, while I have your attention, if you enjoy the content, hit that like button, and of course be subscribed and have notifications turned on. When you look at the channel, the amount of people that come here, 52.6% of the people that have watched content on this channel over the last month are not subscribed. And just to go deeper into those numbers, of the almost 14,000 views on this channel in the past month, 66.8% of those views come from people that are not subscribed to the channel. If you're one of those people, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Again, if you enjoy the content, hit that like button. Now, let's get back to the video. Anthony Richardson, coming into the pros, worked on the combine, not training like Marvin Harrison Jr., trained to be an NFL wide receiver, didn't train for the combine. Anthony Richardson trained for the combine, right? Like a lot of guys do. And then, so that offseason, like, trained to be an NFL quarterback, but trained for the combine, not as an NFL quarterback. Second offseason, right? Technically his first offseason in the NFL, but offseason where he could have worked to get better. He had to rehab. He started throwing again in May. So didn't get the opportunity to really be able to work on the things that he needs to work on. He hasn't gotten that chance, which is why it's vitally important, like so crucially important, that he plays well. He has to get the reps. So sitting out, not an option. I definitely thought about that. I thought about making a video, but hey, let's go ahead and sit Anthony Richardson. I thought it'd be a good idea, but you got to get him the reps. The whole point of his rookie year is to get him the reps. Right? He needs to get the reps, and we just got to make sure he goes into the offseason healthy so that he can work on himself, right? Go into the offseason and really work to be the best version of himself as a passer. And right, we know what he brings as a rusher. He already set the rushing yards and touchdowns record for a Colts quarterback in a season, and he's at 499 yards and 6 touchdowns, right? So I think, and he's soon going to be passing up some other people, and he's going to keep moving up the list, 7th all time right now in rushing yards. For a Colts quarterback, he has 635 total yards in his career. But nonetheless, we know what he can do, right? And that's what we need. What happened last game should have been what happened all season. That's what we thought. With Anthony Richardson and Jonathan Taylor, we all thought we were going to run the ball 40 to 50 times a game. Anthony was going to throw 15 to 20 times a game, and we'd be okay, right? We wouldn't be the best team, but we're going to limit Anthony Richardson's mistakes while he works on things. And I think when you think about, like, everything we've talked about up to this point is all about on the field, right? We've talked about all the on the field, and there are things that need to be worked on, and I'm not going to shy away from that, right? I'm not going to shy, but it's not as bad as people think, right? He's missing throws, and he'll get over that. Again, give him an off season to work on him as a player, and then what we see in 2025. If he hasn't improved like at all in 2025, we'll talk about it, and I'll admit that Anthony Richardson's not the guy. But right now, I need my quarterback to get one offseason, one healthy offseason where he can work on himself. And the good news, right, you think about off the field, the good news is that Anthony Richardson understands, right, between the ears. He understands what the work has to be put in to be a great quarterback. He always wanted to be a great quarterback. He wants to be one of the best of all time. Well, how do you get there? Well, he figured out a hard lesson this year when he got humbled by being benched. And when all the leaders on the team all had to come to him and tell him, hey, this is what we're doing. This is what it's worth. Obviously, like, and that was one of the fears, 21, 22-year-old guy coming in, having to be the leader for a bunch of guys who have been in the league for a little while now. Their clock is running out. They got families to feed. They're trying to get to another contract, and they're trying to be relevant, and they're trying to continue winning. They're trying to win a Super Bowl. That's the goal. These guys want to get to the playoffs for one, and of course, win a Super Bowl. Guys like DeForest Buckner. As I say this, I'm thinking of DeForest Buckner, right? Like, and so I just think at the end of the day, Anthony, it was so valuable. This year has been so valuable from the point where the franchise quarterback you want Anthony to be from a leadership standpoint on his way, like ascending quickly, like getting there. And I think the attitude that he brings, I think, as he continued, and I told you guys so much about how as a young man, you go through growth. Mentally, physically, you just get tougher as you go from your teenage years and your early 20s. You get to your mid 20s, late 20s, and you just, once you get to 30, you realize, man, that growth, I got way tougher in those early years. At least a lot of guys, a lot of men will get tougher just naturally in life between that 20 and 25 range, and he's in that. And I think he's doing a great job. Obviously, as a franchise quarterback, his clock has to be accelerated with all that, which is exactly what happened. He was going to figure it out eventually, but Shane Steichen, the team, they said, hey, like, you got to figure it out now. So that's what happened, right? Hold him accountable, whatever it is. Now everybody's saying, oh, who else is going to get held accountable? Oh, we're losing. Who else is getting held accountable? Like, sorry, dude, the quarterback's different. If you don't understand that, you don't know ball. And that's just a simple fact of it. Quarterback's different. This is the NFL. Welcome to it. But the simple fact of the matter is that Anthony Richardson going forward, and all the people that are impatient on Anthony Richardson, like, just slow down, brother. Little RELAX, like Aaron Rodgers used to say. Let's just chill out a little bit. I think Anthony Richardson has got all the tools. We've seen him, and again, he's not consistent, which is the biggest problem, but we've seen him hit all the different throws. We've seen him hit them all. There are just some that he misses more often than not. And that's what's got to get figured out. And I have trust that he will. I think that he's going to figure it out. I think Shane, as a head coach, is going to continue to figure it out. Again, this is a young head coach, right? What, 39 years old, I believe. I'm almost certainly 39 years old. Will be 40 next year. It's only his second year as head coach. It's AR's second year as an NFL quarterback, right? Like, I mean, give him time, man. And that's it, as I tell you that, like, I'm telling me that as I say it, right? This is me talking to myself, to you guys. That's what that is. Because I here just a few weeks ago, and shout out to you guys for letting me know about it in the comments, and calling me out on it. That's why I love you guys. But being pessimistic and not having a great attitude towards the team because of the way things were going, and just another embarrassing season as a Colts fan, and things weren't great. But as I sit here and the bye week was huge, getting a chance to not watch the team and really just assess, just like they do. And as a content creator, like, the Colts is my life. Like, I have Colts hat, Colts shirt, 2 Colts helmets, a Colts. There's a bunch of stuff. My closet's over here. There's Colts stuff riddled everywhere throughout here. I have like maybe 8 to 10 jerseys over here and a bunch of other clothes of Colts. Like, this is my life, brother. I love this team, and I had a chance to go through and assess and really look at the team, look at the future, look at what could happen. And that's why those videos that we had that week was huge, because I got to deep dive into the team and into the future. And if the future plays out how I think it should, and of course, you got to get the right people in place if you're going to fire some guys and get a bunch of 41 free agents, and right, there's going to be a lot of new, and it's got to be good. But I just think the future of the team is bright, and I think a lot of people are giving up too fast. I think as frustrating as it's been for the last 8 years, and as frustrating, I mean, 2022, 2021, the way that ended with Carson Wentz, and then 22, 23, 24, like the way these seasons keep stacking up, we're exhausted as Colts fans, man, mentally and emotionally. We're just exhausted as Colts fans. And I understand being done with it. There are a lot of things, again, I'm done with. GM, um, obviously defensive coordinator, 41 free agents. I think maybe 5 of them get re-signed. Um, and one of them would be a decent sized contract. The others are special teams and depth pieces. And that's just the way I feel about this team. And but the future, again, I think is bright because we have Anthony Richardson. Like this video, when it all comes back, your franchise hinges on the quarterback, and we have Anthony Richardson. And this is the guy that, as Zaire says, and Quentin Nelson and Kenny Moore and DeForest Buckner, all these guys talk about, hey, we got Anthony's back. We re-signed here for Anthony. That's what some of these veterans said. We re-signed here because we believe in Anthony. DeForest told him that. And so if the players are around him every day and they actually believe in him like that, they actually believe in him, and then we go into an offseason and really him healthy and able to work on things. Coaching staff gets flipped. Roster gets flipped a little bit. Executive offices get flipped a little bit, right? Get a new look. Get some fresh energy. Get some new players in the building. And I think the 2025 Colts can look a whole lot different. I think Shane is going to come into 2025 in his bag. I think Anthony has a chance to go into 2025 looking good. Him and JT, these next 2 games are massive. That's what I said going into the Titans game, is that the 3 games were massive. Find a rhythm on offense. We haven't been able to find a rhythm at all. You're playing 3 trash teams. Find a rhythm on offense. Anthony and JT, we obviously, franchise record, 335 rushing yards. We found a rhythm. Okay, first time in NFL history that a quarterback rushes for 70 yards, running back rushes for 200 yards. We found a rhythm. The thing we should have been doing all year, we did it and it worked. Again, it's the Titans. They're trash. I get it. Everybody's going to say that. I understand it. But nonetheless, when you're going up against these bad teams, you're able to get in situations where you can work on things. You're up 38-7. You can do some things, and you can hit some plays that you usually wouldn't call in a game. But hey, we got an opportunity to do something here. Let's see what this does in game. Hey, this works for us. Let's change it for the future. Hey, let's get in a rhythm. Go into the offseason knowing, hey, this is what works for us. People are going to know that. They're going to defend it. We can work against it. Boom, boom, boom. Again, Shane in his bag, right? It's going to be a team effort. It always is, because that's football, baby. That's football. The biggest team game of all the team games, football. That's why we love it. We love this team. The ups, the downs. We love this team. That's why you're still here. That's why you're still here. I don't know, as I've cut this down, we might be sitting closer to 17 minutes, but this says 18 minutes and counting up here. If you're sticking around, you love this team. You love football. You love this team, and I love you for sticking around, man. Appreciate you stopping in. Just want to have a conversation about Anthony Richardson, me thinking he's worth it. A lot of people jumping the gun, in my opinion. But just give Anthony time. That's all I say is just give him time. It's my opinion. And of course, I want to know what your opinion is. You let me know what your thoughts are on all of this down in the comment section if you have not already. And of course, make sure you're subscribed. And hey, by the way, hit that like button. Hit that like button for me, baby, and subscribe. Have those notifications turned on so you get notified anytime we drop any more content on this channel. And of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.